The 6. Schnurr hands it off. Autry inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown Northwestern. Second touchdown today for Darnell Autry.
A lot of people are going to probably ask if this is vindication. This isn't vindication. This is how this team plays every day in practice. This is not the team that showed up last week. This is the team that beat Notre Dame. That's what we plan on being.
Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the Gary Barnett Show, featuring the head football coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. I'm Dave Eanet. The Wildcats coming off their second victory of the season, a very impressive 30-6 win over Air Force here at Dyke Stadium this past Saturday. And Gary, this has to have been a great win for your football team after kind of riding a roller coaster of emotions the past couple of weeks.
Well, it was a big win. There's no question about it, but really every win is big, and there aren't enough of them, and you need to celebrate each and every one of them. I don't care what level you're on, you just celebrate them all. But it was nice for our kids to bounce back, especially the way we won this game. It wasn't that we went out and we eked it out, or we ended up ahead. Is that we really took pretty much control of this game, and I like the way we finished off the fourth quarter and squeezed them on offense and on defense.
Is this right where you would like your team to be going into the Big Ten season?
I'm really happy with our last performance, and I think that at least on defense, that's the way that I pictured us playing all year. Offense, we still have some things that we have to straighten up. We've got to be more consistent. Our third down conversions have to be better. There's always room for improvement, and coaches always seem to find those, and that's where we are right now. We've got to get better in some areas, but I like the spirit and the character of our club right now.
Well, at least it's good to see you smile again.
Well, we won. I smile.
All right, and we'll take a look at how you did it as we look at first half highlights, the Wildcats and the Air Force, coming up on the Gary Barnett Show.
6 yards and 5 touchdowns. Here on the pitch for the first time today, and a fumble. Northwestern's got a chance, and they've got the ball, and it's William Bennett.
This is the view from atop Dyke Stadium in the press box. As we continue on the Gary Barnett Show, this is a view that many of us have every Saturday afternoon, Coach. You don't get to get this view very often.
I've got the worst seat in the house. I can't see anything where I am, but I get to see the players, and that's critical. But the view up here is terrific. You see the lake, Baha'i Temple, the whole city of Chicago, and we sell this view when we recruit heavily.
Well, you had a beautiful day on Saturday and a beautiful outcome, and you go into this game against an Air Force team that's been ranked as high as 19th by the coaches, and you knew you were going to have your hands full.
Well, also the third-ranked team in the country in rushing for 372 yards a game, and we had just let a lot of yards get run on us, more than we should have, and so we were also coming back from a couple days where we were traumatized, Dave, as a football team, and I knew by Thursday night at the end of practice that we'd gotten our spirit back and we were ready to play.
And it showed on Saturday. Let's take a look. The Wildcats and the Air Force. Coach, the Falcons come swooping into Dyke Stadium. You had beaten them out there the year before. They're known as a running team, but they come out throwing.
Well, we thought they might do this, Dave, loosen us up, and I know after last year's game they wish they'd thrown the ball a little bit more, so we sort of thought this might happen. We just didn't want to panic, and here they do this little throw a couple times a game, try to get your free safety out of position, and really if he'd made a good throw there, we were in trouble, but we held on, and then we come back, got the ball back, and you see a huge hole here, good block by Matt Hartle, and then Darnell just runs over their safety, number 32 there.
Darnell Autry on his way to a career-high 190 yards rushing, and here on third down, Schnurr to the air.
Yeah, this is a nice scramble play. Brian Musso makes a great catch, and that was a nice job of adjusting to the ball, and a nice job by our receivers adjusting to Steve's scramble.
14 yards on that gain down to the 37. Sam Valenzizi with a 46-yard field goal to put you up 3-0. And then here we look at the first turnover.
This is Eric Collier. He does a great job. William Bennett picks it up, and Eric makes a tackle on the pitch man, punches the ball out, and William's right there to pick it up. We're excited.
key, always cashing in on those turnovers. And here we'll look at Steve Schnurr to Dwayne Bates.
That was a great job by our offensive line picking up a blitz and Dwayne getting himself open and Steve staying right there and throwing the ball. And then you're going to see an outside zone play here, and Darnell gets in. And, Mike McGrew, young man from Mount Carmel, leads him around the corner there, number 45.
10-0 Northwestern lead, and now the Air Force back on offense. Bo Morgan, their quarterback.
This is a critical play here, and Eric Collier makes a stop. It's down by our goal line and forces them to kick a field goal. And it was just a big play by Eric, and then William almost comes up with this interception, but it was thrown behind him, and he would have had to make a great play on it.
They settle for the field goal as you look at Northwestern defensive coordinator Ron Vanderlinden. A 26-yard field goal puts the Air Force on the board, trailing 10-3, and now the Wildcats back on offense.
Steve hooks up again here to Dwayne Bates, and Dwayne had 7 catches Saturday and had a tremendous game.
This is going to put you into field goal position once again for Sam Valenzizi, this time from 26, one of 3 field goals for Valenzizi in the first half on Saturday, and makes it a 13-3 game.
Sam was really accurate Saturday, and you're going to see him onside kick right here. And this is a great play by Hudayfa Ismaili and Donnie Holmes, and a great kick by Sam. And we noticed that they were moving at the snap as soon as we kicked it, backing up, and took advantage of it. And this is Darnell on an isolation play and avoids a couple tackles, and he had 101 yards post-contact yardage Saturday.
And this will set up Valenzizi's 3rd field goal, a 35-yarder, a 16-3 lead now in the second quarter, and about halfway through the second quarter. Now they switch quarterbacks, and their quarterback, Tom Brown, gets sacked.
Now this is one of Pat Fitzgerald's great plays, and one of his 13 tackles, 2 or 3 for a loss, and that was a big play for us right there.
Loss of 5 yards on that one. They ended up punting on that possession. Now, what happens here, Coach?
Well, this was supposed to be a fake, and we changed snappers for just this play, and this is really as much my fault as it was anybody's. And we had decided to snap Janis, and he had not been there when we put this play in, and so he snapped it to the wrong guy.
They end up with a field goal, 16-6 at halftime. Coach, 16-6 at halftime. They kicked a field goal with half a minute to go, and then you came back and tried a couple long passes to Bates.
Well, there was only 25 seconds left. We got the ball back, and we debated whether or not to just run the clock out or not. But we had decent field position, and so we decided that to take a couple of heaves, let Steve throw one down and see if Dwayne could out-jump that corner. They had a corner that was pretty small playing on him, and so we thought if nothing, the worst thing that happened is we throw a deep interception, and they didn't have a kind of offense that would be able to score at the end of the with just a few seconds left in the half, and so we took our chances at that time. And really, Steve threw 2 passes in there, and 2 of the of his 22 attempts, and we had very little chance of success, but we thought we'd give him a chance.
First half ended with the Wildcats up 16-6, and we'll be back to take a look at the second half highlights after this. Welcome back. The Wildcats with a 16-6 lead at halftime. Coach, were you feeling comfortable at that point?
Well, I felt comfortable our defense was in control. I did not feel like our offense was hitting on all cylinders, like I said earlier, and we had to make some adjustments at halftime. We also tried to anticipate the kind of adjustments Air Force was going to make, and they made some good adjustments, and we stumbled at first with them. But more importantly, I wanted our players to come out and play a second half. I wanted them to play a fourth quarter. We hadn't done that since Notre Dame, and I wanted us to be effective in the second half, and I wanted us to keep our tenacity, our intensity that we'd shown in the first half up for the full 30 minutes of the second half.
Come out and play the second half. They did. Let's take a look. 16-6, the Northwestern lead to begin the third quarter. The Wildcats on offense, and here on a 4th down situation, Coach, we'd seen the fake earlier. A lot of deceptiveness on your part.
Well, we thought this might be open. It was an audible, and Paul hits Matt Hartle there, and Matt lucky to hang on to that ball. We got a good call by the official there, but it was a critical play for us in that series. And then Casey Daly comes in and sacks his quarterback, Bo Morgan, back on the 2-yard line. That's a big play as he really backs them up and gives us a chance for a great field position.
Here we'll see Steve Schnurr teaming up once again on a big play to Dwayne Bates.
This is a nice throw. Good job by Chad Pugh out in front of Steve there, and then a nice catch and run after he caught it by Dwayne Bates.
You stayed away from the turnovers for the most part on Saturday, but here's one.
Well, Steve's got to tuck this ball away if he's going to go. He can't leave it hanging out there, and we did not want to turn this ball over, and we've got to work on this.
The good thing, though, I guess you want to win the turnover battle, and you do. On Saturday, here's an interception by Fitzgerald.
Again, Pat sort of had been feeling this out. I think he sort of baited this guy into throwing this ball there, and he came up with a big pick, and just one of his key plays Saturday.
And now you're on offense, cashing in on these turnovers. Here's a little swing pass to Autry.
This is a screen, and I've been trying to get to this earlier in the game, and this finally got to it. And you see it was a big gain for us, and Darnell just runs over about 3 Air Force guys as he finishes that play off.
37 yards down to their 22, and this is the first play now of the fourth quarter.
That was great line blocking, and we call those three-piece suit runs. You could run through there with a three-piece suit on.
The extra point makes it a 23-6 Northwestern lead early in the fourth quarter. Now the Air Force back on offense with Morgan on the pitch to Ruff.
And Hudayfe Shmaely's right there. He and Casey combined for that play. It's a good play by Casey. He strung that thing out. Then you're going to see us get this thing should have been blocked. This Air Force guy misses it and runs right into Paul. And this Barry Gardner made a mistake there, and we've got to shore that up because it's we're going to have people coming after us, and we can't have this happening because that can cost you a game, as you know.
Now we look at the Air Force quarterback Brown, and he will turn it over. And boy, Fitzgerald's right there, but a great play by Danny Sutter.
Danny Sutter caused that turnover, and Fitz was right there to recover. And then you're going to see Steve come back and hit Dwayne Bates, and this is just a terrific catch.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dwayne gets his teeth rattled on that one, but watch it. He's tough now. And then to show you how tough he is, we came back on the very next play and threw him another pass, and he almost takes us down the sideline all the way. And they better not let him get loose because he can run.
18 yards on this play to the Northwestern 49. This is the next play. Big play for Autry.
Well, it was a great play by blocked by Matt Harlan. You see there, Darnell just run over a tackler and then outrun everybody down the sideline and gets the ball stripped out of bounds there on the 2-yard line. And he was carrying it on the wrong arm. If he'd had it in the right arm, he'd have scored.
Now you give it to the other Autry, Adrian Autry.
This is Adrian's first touchdown, and he's clearly in there, and it is a nice play, and we're happy for him to get his first touchdown at Northwestern.
That puts the Wildcats ahead 30-6, and that's the way it ends. So a big victory for the Wildcats, and as you might expect, the statistics weigh heavily in your favor, Coach.
Dave, I like the fact we had 22 first downs. I like the fact that we outrushed them 249 to 137. I like the total yards number, 468 for us. I also like the fact that turnovers. We created 3 turnovers with our defense, and that's a critical situation for us to create turnovers, and always makes a difference in the game. And then I liked our time of possession. We possessed that ball for 32 minutes, and usually wishbone teams do it the other way. They win the time of possession war and frustrate your defense. We did it just the opposite. We kept our defense fresh. Our offense was able to keep the ball, and it worked out to our favor.
And as you might expect, there were some happy Wildcat players after this one.
That was not easy. That's a good ball club that we just played, and you know, I think you just saw a whole week's worth of people being mad unleashed.
I have a lot of respect for Air Force. They're a great team, and I think they were second in the country in offense. And believe me, it was not easy.
Very frankly, they had a better football team today than we did. There wasn't any question about that. And we didn't run our offense, and I want to give Northwestern a lot of credit. Their defense had a heck of a lot to do with it. Certainly, we gained a great deal of respect for their tailback. Not that we didn't have that coming in, but I don't know how many yards Autry had, but I had to guess it. I would say 425. But,
is this your best game ever?
Yeah, it really is. But, you know, there's many more to come,
What happened on your interception?
He threw it right to me. I was just hoping not to drop it, not to fumble it after I caught it, so it was nice. It's good to get the first one, you know.
What about 2-1 now going into the Big Ten? What's that about?
That's nice. I mean, it's real nice. I mean, I think it should be 3-0, but if Miami ends up being our wake-up call, you know, it's almost a blessing in disguise. I mean, we're going in as a force, you know, as a team to be reckoned with. I mean, this Air Force team was a good team.
I just like to go
wherever we are, sing the fight song. So it doesn't make any difference whether it's home or away. I like hearing that song.
You know the word?
Yes, I do. But I ain't singing it right now.
Well, defense was the name of the game for the Wildcats on Saturday in the victory over the Air Force, and one player had an outstanding game is junior linebacker Pat Fitzgerald from Sandburg High School, the Big Ten co-defensive player of the week. All Pat did against the Falcons on Saturday: 13 solo tackles, a piece of a sack, an interception, a fumble. You defensive guys love to get your hands on the football, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's always fun to get the ball, thrown to us like the kid did on Saturday, and then to recover a fumble was even a little bit more icing on the cake.
Pat, what's it feel like to have the defense going on all cylinders like you were against the Air Force?
Well, it's just helping for our confidence for the future coming into the Big Ten schedule. It's time to play some football. The preseason's over, and looking forward to this weekend.
This weekend against Indiana, you guys have really geared yourself to the Big Ten campaign, haven't you?
Oh yeah, this is where the premier conference in the country, and to be able to get in that upper echelon, we're going to have to really step it up, and it starts this weekend.
Now, Pat, you're from the area. You played your high school ball at Sandburg, an all-area selection there. So you've had a chance to watch this Northwestern program on the rise. It's got to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, that's why I came here when Coach Barnett recruited me. He had talked about building blocks and building up a team instead of going to a place where you're just a name or a face, going to a place where you can really contribute and make a difference. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to come here to Northwestern.
You're an organizational studies major. Does that help you out when you're juggling things and trying to balance football and academics?
Well, I guess you can call it as close to our undergrad business degree as you can get here. So I don't know about that, but it helps out. I guess I can put things alphabetically pretty good and put things in height and stuff.
Well, Pat, congratulations on a great game against the Air Force, and good luck on Saturday and the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Pat Fitzgerald, junior linebacker for the Wildcats out of Sandburg High School. Now, as Pat will tell you, and most of the Wildcat players and coaches will, the key to preparation is time spent in the film room. There's no question that studying film is a key element to success for any football team. At Northwestern, the players and the coaches work together, breaking down themselves as well as their opponent.
The critical aspect of it is get your players to watch it and to get them to watch it intelligently, not to just look at it, but to know what they're looking for. So you have to set it up. You have to edit out and show the things that you need to show, and that's as much in the video watching as anything when it comes to the football aspect of it.
I thought in this one, Steve, you were right. And we talked about that. For 2 right there, he makes a nice little route, but he slips a little bit out of his break. So he's got to hit that. That ball was catchable. Okay? I like that.
You learn a lot from watching film. I mean, the more you know about your opponent, the better off the more prepared you are for the game.
Last Saturday, NU's defense all but shut down the high-powered wishbone attack of the Air Force. Many point to the tireless hours of watching video of the Falcons and being able to understand their weaknesses.
We watch tons of film because Air Force is so tricky. They're not your standard. They got, their linemen are 6'4", 255, and they run that option. So they're banking on the fact that you're going to be undisciplined and they're just going to run all over you. So film was critical this week.
When we had our bye week, we did some study on Air Force, and then again, I was in there every single free time I could get. I was watching Air Force film.
Watching and looking at film of your opponents may not be the most exciting thing to do, but when you talk about the Cats' 2 wins this year, you have to attribute them to watching the tube.
I think that's the key to our success. We got guys that pay attention and watch film and take the time. We have to do that voluntarily. Coaches can't make us watch film. So we go in and we watch film as a defense, and it's very important to our victories.
You can see how effective Steve Schnurr's been this year, just in the way Craig's taught him and tutored him. And I think Steve told us that he's never been as prepared for a game as he was for the Notre Dame game. And I think he'll tell you the same thing about Air Force and Miami of Ohio. So it pays off.
Schnurr's pass, corner of the end zone, caught for the touchdown. Dave Beasley outrunning Alvin Wilson for the Northwestern score.
And while they watch the films, we'll take a look ahead to the game with the Indiana Hoosiers as we continue right after this.
Big Ten's a premier conference in the country, and for us to get a name for our program, to get some respect, we got to start playing, and we're going to have to do it in the Big Ten, not in the preseason.
So this week coming up is a huge week. Indiana's going to be out for blood. We beat them last year down 3rd place for their homecoming. They got a great tailback. It should be interesting. It's going to be a fun one.
Well, Saturday here at Dyke Stadium, the Wildcats open Big Ten play against the Indiana Hoosiers. So for the 2nd week in a row, Coach, you have a team coming in here whom you defeated last year.
We snuck one away from Indiana down there last year, Dave. We went down and played very well, but they're a good football team. They have a great quarterback, a young man, a running back by the name of Alex Smith that is one of the top runners in the country. He had 206 yards last week. And probably as much as anything, I have such great respect for Bill Mowry and the way he operates his football program. And I was a high school coach when he was head coach at the University of Colorado, and I just watched him work and admired him so much. And his clubs are always well prepared, and they're very, very physical, and they're very tough. And so I told our kids yesterday at practice that they better start taking their aspirins now, because that's the kind of game it's going to be.
Their defense already looks to be improved. What, 10 sacks the first 3 games?
10 sacks in 3 games, and they only had 12 for the whole year. So they've changed their scheme. They're bringing a lot of pressure and a lot of heat. Our quarterbacks are going to have to be sharp. More than that, our offensive line is going to have to play just great guns, because better than we've played all year.
So I guess you're done celebrating the Air Force victory.
We were done Sunday when we turned on the Indiana film, so we saw too much there to stay on that Air Force win very long.
All right, well, congratulations. Good luck on Saturday. And again, Saturday afternoon here at Dyke Stadium, a 1 o'clock kickoff as the Wildcats open Big Ten play against the Hoosiers. We hope to see you here. Now for Coach Gary Barnett, I'm Dave Eanet. Thanks very much for being with us, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
8-man blitz. They'll bring it. Schnur to Bates. Bates gets away. And luckily, Air Force was able to get back there. The other 3, he's got 7 receptions for over 100 yards. Darnell Autry, open field on the corner. Took the corner on it, broke it, down the sideline. Autry knocked out of his hands and out of bounds at the 4-yard line. He'll take his spot on 1st and goal, Northwestern. And it's Adrian Autry, the 2nd man through, and he's got a touchdown. The Autry and Autry show on that drive. Victory for Gary Barnett and his Wildcats.